Hey everyone, welcome to Turkish series stars. Settle in, because we're diving into a night that set social media buzzing and left the red carpet glowing with questions. Don't forget to subscribe and share before we begin, because this one has layers. The story starts at the dazzling premiere of a new film headlined by Erkan Meriç, a night built for flashbulbs and big emotions. Erkan arrived in a classic tux, poised and gracious, stopping for photos with co-stars and greeting the press with that trademark calm. But it wasn't his suit, his smile, or even the film that hijacked the conversation, it was the absence of one name everyone expected to see, Hazal Subaşı. When Erkan stepped onto the carpet alone, the hush spread faster than the applause. The questions were whispered at first and then spoken aloud, threading through the crowd and finding their way online within minutes. Where was Hazal? Why wasn't she by his side for such an important night? The premiere might have celebrated Erkan's new role, but it became a stage for speculation. Even the smallest details, his relaxed manner, his carefully measured replies, were dissected as if they were clues to a mystery only the two of them could solve. The couple's public image had a lot to do with it. Erkan Meriç and Hazal Subaşı have long been seen as a steady, grounded pair who don't lean into theatrics. They rarely court attention together, and when they do, it's subtle, a glance on a set, a polite mention in an interview, a discreet like on a post. People love that about them. But a milestone like a premiere is different. It's an event where partners show up, flash a smile, and remind everyone that support isn't just private, it's visible. So when that visible support was missing, the empty space around Erkan turned into the loudest conversation of the night. Erkan handled it the way he handles most things, calmly, with thoughtful pauses. He spoke openly about the film, his character, the months of work that brought the production to life. He praised his co-stars and the crew, even cracked a few understated jokes with reporters. Yet when the questions curved toward his private life, have you and Hazal decided to take space? Is everything okay? He sidestepped without being evasive, answering without quite answering. It was a performance in balance, say enough to show respect, say little enough to keep their borders intact. Backstage whispers started to weave their own narrative. Some said Hazal was deep in filming, locked into a demanding schedule, possibly out of the city. Others believed she had a prior commitment she couldn't break. Sources close to Hazal insisted this was about timing, not turmoil. She's been working long hours, they said, and anyone who knows her knows she hates abandoning a professional obligation. That's who she's always been, committed, focused, resilient. The people in their circle were adamant, there was no crisis to manage, just a calendar that refused to bend. But this is the entertainment world, and it runs on impressions. Where there's no clear answer, imagination rushes in. Social media split itself down the middle. Some fans argued there was nothing unusual about the situation at all. They pointed to Hazal's recent posts, upbeat, energetic, filled with snapshots from sets and everyday life. Others said the silence spoke volumes. They noted that Hazal hadn't posted a story or a congratulatory message for Erkan's big night, that the two hadn't been photographed together in a while, that their public intersections had slowed. Was it intentional privacy? Or had the silence calcified into distance? By the time the credits rolled and the after-party began, the debate had turned into a chorus. Inside, Erkan was relaxed among friends and colleagues, laughing in the corner, trading notes with producers, hugging co-actors who'd just watched months of work find its audience. People drifted in to congratulate him, and inevitably, someone slid in the question, will Hazal join later? Those who watched him closely noticed how carefully he moved the topic back to the film, how he refused to feed a narrative that didn't belong to the evening. Some commentators later called it conscious silence, a kind of practiced restraint meant to protect something fragile. Others said it looked like two professionals charting their boundaries and keeping the noise at bay. What's undeniable is that Hazal remained off the grid in any way connected to the gala. No celebratory post about Erkan's premiere. No red carpet photo. No playful behind-the-scenes story. But her recent online presence didn't read as downcast. Quite the opposite, she looked energized, confident, very much in motion. In one set photo, she was caught between takes, laughing with a camera operator. In another, she strode across a lot with a script tucked under her arm, a headset dangling from one hand. If fans were looking for signs of heartbreak, they weren't in those images. If anything, they pointed to an actress in the thick of the work that keeps her alive creatively. Then came a fresh wave of speculation from gossip columns. Maybe the absence was strategic. Maybe Erkan and Hazal had agreed to move even more quietly, to let their work breathe without the constant glare of coupled headlines. They've been here before, rumors, snapshots, guesses. And each time they've found a way to shut it all down with a single unplanned outing, a brief photo, a stolen moment caught by fans. Could this be the same cycle all over again? Or had the cycle itself exhausted them into silence? Still, there was another reading, one that flourished in back rooms and comment sections. To some people, choosing not to attend a night like this, particularly a career milestone, carried a message. They believed it meant something, a symbol that support was cooling or that priorities had shifted. Those takes seemed dramatic, but drama is the language of the internet. The truth is likely far less cinematic, a clashing schedule, a shoot that ran late, a call time that swallowed an evening. Yet the allure of meaning only grows in the absence of certainty. As the night wound down, a handful of producers approached Erkan with a different kind of curiosity. They weren't fishing for romance headlines, they were trying to map out future collaborations and wanted to understand how flexible his calendar might be. Between practical questions, one or two slipped in a softer inquiry. So, will Hazal be at the festival circuit? Again, he redirected, gracious but firm. Tonight is about the film, he said in so many words. And that, perhaps, is the center of this entire story, a line drawn to protect what matters, whether it is a partnership or a premiere. Meanwhile, whispers from sets painted a picture of Hazal working through long nights, scripts annotated into bristles, and scenes that demanded repetition until they hummed with truth. The claim was simple: she tried to make the premiere, but the clock refused to compromise. If that's accurate, it's not the stuff of scandal, it's the reality of two careers often moving on parallel tracks. Still, timing is everything. And the timing here, her absence on a night so significant to Erkan, handed tabloids an irresistible thread. It's important to remember that Erkan and Hazal have weathered similar storms in the past. Each time, they put a quiet end to the whispers with a single, uncomplicated act. A candid photo strolling a street. A shared presence at a low-key industry dinner. A cheerful wave to a fan who asked for a picture of them together. No statements, no press conferences, just a gentle reset of the narrative. They have never been prone to emotional mic drops or cryptic quotes. If they're navigating something now, they've chosen to do it without turning their lives into content. So where does that leave everyone else, the fans, the bloggers, the people hovering at the edge of the velvet rope? Waiting, mostly. Waiting for a post, a story, a snapshot of joined hands backstage at a ceremony. Waiting for a small congratulatory message that, with a single line, would silence the worries. Or waiting for a sighting, a coffee run, a late dinner, a hallway hug at a studio, that reminds everyone that relationships don't have to be staged to be real. Until then, the conversation will continue to churn, turning possibilities into paragraphs. And maybe that's the point. This silence could be a pause before their next quiet appearance together, a measured way to keep the spotlight on the work both of them value. Or maybe it's just life. A logistics puzzle that didn't fall into place on a big night. For now, all that exists are the bright photos of Erkan on the carpet, the hum of applause inside the theater, and the unseen schedule that kept Hazal elsewhere. All that exists are comments, rumors, and the tender patience of people who care. What happens next is anyone's guess. A festival screening might bring them into the same frame again. An awards ceremony could invite that simple, declarative moment. Standing side by side, smiling, moving through a room like it's the most normal thing in the world. Or maybe it will be even quieter, an understated post from Hazal acknowledging Erkan's success, shared without fanfare, liked by thousands, and understood instantly. A single image could close the loop or amplify it, depending on how hungry the world feels for more. The afterglow of the premiere has already begun to fade, but the conversation it sparked is still warm. Those who comb through details will keep searching, and those who love them will keep trusting. The truth sits somewhere in between, waiting for a small gesture, the kind they do best, delicate and unforced. When it arrives, it will feel less like a headline and more like an exhale. Until then, the story writes itself in whispers, in careful smiles, and in the space between separate commitments that belong to the same shared life. You've been watching Turkish series stars. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you're subscribed and share the video with friends who love a slow burn mystery. This isn't over, not by a long shot. We're keeping our eyes on Erkan Meriç and Hazal Subaşı, and the moment something shifts, you'll hear it here first. Good night for now, and here's to the quiet truths that reveal themselves one gentle step at a time.